Hello grade 5 students! Welcome back to another art session. Last week, we explored the principle of emphasis in design. This week, we're shifting gears and focusing on a new principle, the principle of contrast. Before anything else, take a look at these images for a moment. What elements are being contrasted? Where is the contrast most noticeable in the artwork? I want you to ponder on these questions. You probably noticed that contrast is what makes certain elements pop or stand out from the rest. It's all about the difference between elements. But let's break it down more formally. Contrast is the amount of difference between elements. It's the key to creating visual interest. When elements with contrasting qualities are placed next to each other, they command the viewer's attention. These areas of contrast are typically the first places your eye will be drawn to. One way to achieve contrast is through juxtaposition. This is when two or more unlike things are placed next to each other, creating a stark difference. This often grabs our attention because it's unusual or unexpected. Another method is using positive and negative space. The positive space is the object or subject itself, while the negative space is the background. When there's a clear distinction between the two, through shape, color, or placement, it enhances the contrast and draws attention to the subject. Let's talk about complementary colors now. These are colors that sit opposite each other on the color wheel, like red and green, blue and orange, or yellow and purple. When placed next to each other, they create a strong visual contrast and make each other look more vibrant. Another form of contrast is variation. This refers to the variety of elements in a design. It can create interest and energy by slightly changing elements to differ from one another. But we have to be careful. Too much variety can make things feel chaotic, so it's important to balance it with unity. Finally, let's discuss value contrast. This is the difference between light and dark values in a composition. High contrast means there's a big difference between the lightest and darkest areas. This makes the edges sharp and noticeable. Low contrast, on the other hand, means the light and dark areas are more similar, creating softer edges and a more subtle look. So contrast is really about creating visual interest by using differences in line, shape, color, value, and texture. When done right, it can make your design stand out and grab attention. Now that we've discussed contrast, I want to show you the artwork you'll be creating this week. It's called Light and Dark Opposite Art. This art activity will help you practice value contrast by applying the idea of opposite values. For now, prepare these art materials: white drawing paper, pencil, ruler, black marker, or pen. In part 2 of this video, I will guide you through the step-by-step process. So stay tuned and happy creating!